they just don't get it. Or search for health advice online, but you can't understand it. Felt unheard? You're not alone, and you found your solution with Health Hour. Every Saturday at 11 a.m. This is your space where Caribbean and African healthcare professionals speak about health with a focus on Black people. We tackle the topics that keep you up at night: mental health, chronic conditions, preventive care, sexual health, men's health, women's health, heart disease, and much more. All with the cultural context that matters, because our Black doctors understand the unique challenges we face. Here is what you can expect: real talk from doctors who look like you and get it, lived experience testimonies, practical advice, illness prevention and management tips, and a space of understanding without judgment. You also get to ask questions. Your questions drive the conversation. Health Hour, where community meets Black health expertise.
Good morning, everyone, and a very, very warm welcome to you all on this Saturday morning. My name is Dr. Vanessa Appiah, and I'm your host today on Khan's Health Hour. And as ever, I always say that we thank you because we don't take your time lightly, that on a Saturday morning when you could be doing anything, sorting out your life, the house, family, work, you're here with us. So thank you so much. And being on the Health Hour, what we really love to know and hear is actually who's with us watching and listening, whether you're online on YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, but also where you are in the globe that you're watching today. So just to kind of kick things off, I'm by myself, but I am in Ghana watching and participating and hosting today. So it's great to be with all of you today. The sessions that we do within our health hours are for you. They're an opportunity to learn, to educate yourself, to get more confident about your health and that health of your family and your networks as well. And what's really important is that we want to give you information that supports you to take control of your health and also support others. And within the health hour, it's an opportunity for you to listen, but also to ask the questions that you want and need from people that look like you, that understand you, and also people that have dedicated their time to be here to share with you. And that is so important. So thank you again for being here. Thank you for listening to this health hour. And also, we want you to participate. So I've said I want you to let me know where you're listening and watching from, but it would also be great for you to ask your questions that you need. And through the talk today, there'll be an opportunity for you to write in the chat. And at the end, we'll be collating all the questions. And I promise that we'll get through as many as we can in the time that we've got together. And if we can't answer everything today, then we'll definitely have an opportunity to feed back to you. And also there'll be an email in which you can also ask those questions that you may not have thought about at the time. But also, if at the end, if you'd like to actually, rather than just writing in the chat, put up your hand and put your camera on or not, but actually ask your question directly, you're entirely welcome to. This is a space for you. So today I'm really excited by the talk that we've got because it's a topic that we often hear about and we can see it and we hear it and we think, okay, we're going to do something about it. But taking that step from knowing what it is and actually actioning it in our lives, well, I'm going to say that I'm not great at it. So I'm really looking forward to having the opportunity to learn from our wonderful speaker today. So today we have Dr. Hannah Brew that I'm really excited to share with you. That Dr. Hannah Brew is going to be talking to us about the specific topic of self-care. And for many of you, and I know in other talks that we've had that so many people will reflect about the fact that self-care isn't something they always prioritize. And well, Dr. Brew is here to really emphasize that in our life, but also show us how to. And the brilliant thing is that she's the perfect person to do this because she's a corporate well-being and inclusion consultant, a GP, an occupational health physician, and podcaster. So, Dr. Brew, thank you so much for being here, and over to you.
Hi. Thank you guys so much for having me here. It's been long coming, and I'm really excited to be finally here. And thank you to everybody who is watching today. Unfortunately, I can't get to see you, but hi, everybody. And thank you for sharing your lovely mid-morning with me. And I promise it will be worth well your time. So today I have been given an seemingly arduous task of talking about self-care, and that self-care is not selfish. I'm not sure if you can see my slide. Can I get a feedback?
Not at the moment, so I think we should let me just double check if others can see.
No,
I
we can't
don't
as
think
well.
so.
So yeah, please, if you could try sharing it again, Dr.
I
Hannah,
will
that'd
do a
be greatly
little
appreciated.
jiggle and then you would see me soon, I promise.
Dr. Brew, not to interrupt, but whilst you're doing that, I just want to give a big shout out to Khan actually, because last night they won Small Business of the Year at the Black Talent Awards. So just kind of a big round of applause to Khan, who week in, week out, every day of the year are committed to advancing the lives of Black communities. Khan is a social non-profit business, and their dedication is a true testament to getting this award. So kudos to Khan. Really, really proud of everyone involved. And look at that, by
Fantastic.
magic, we are having the slides coming up, so everything fits together.
Right. And I'm trying this new fancy tech of a cameo, so I'm supposed to be appearing in it. Is that working yet?
It is, yeah. We can also see the slides aren't full. Where they're still in they're not in full presenter mode. So I
Yeah,
think if
yeah,
you
we don't
press
want that. Yeah.
yeah, if you press there, the slideshow. Beautiful. That's great.
Right. So is my
Love.
magic working?
Yes, yeah, it's all working. We can see you
Fantastic. Right.
beautifully.
Good morning, everybody. And yes, my name is Dr. Hannah Brew. So my mom always asks me, what are all those little letters behind your name? And so, Mummy, I'm going to explain to you for the umpteenth time that the NBC PhD is what allows me to call myself doctor. I have a master's in public health, so it's an MPH. The MRCGP shows that I'm a member of the Royal College of General Practitioners, so it allows me to be a general practitioner here in the UK. The DRCOG shows that I'm a diplomate of the College of Obstetricians and Gynecology, hence my interest in women's health. And then the DocMed, which is the last one, shows that I'm an occupational health physician. So I asked ChatGPT to try and give an image of me. And this is what ChatGPT came up with. Clever. So, like I mentioned earlier, I do have quite a busy lifestyle. And on top of everything that the introduction said, I own a private GP clinic. I do this corporate consultancy on well-being and inclusion. And beyond the consulting room, this is what I do. I'm an international keynote speaker, and I talk about health and well-being and women's health, to be specific. I am a wife, I'm a mother of toddlers. I wanted to put up their picture, but I remember that it's going live, so I was like, I'm not sure how they're going to feel about this. And I'm a person who lives with a disability. And FYI, I have a really fancy wheelchair, and we'll go into that later in the presentation. So you might be thinking, oh, that is a lot, but really, is it? Does it sound like a lot? Well, I don't quite think so, because I think this is our new normal, and that we are constantly chasing the ever elusive work-life balance. And I found this picture really, really relatable. Mom cuddling baby, probably buying something online shopping, and she has her laptop opened. And that is me on most evenings, and that is a lot of us. And so I thought, oh, this is a really relatable picture. And sorry if you find that my pictures and my examples are a bit more slightly skewed to the feminine side. And my only excuse is that I'm one, and so I know what it feels like. So Self-care, gosh, what comes to mind when we think about self-care? For me and most people who might be listening, I'm sure that self-care, when we hear where it's been a big industry, I was just Googling quickly to find out more. And then they said that currently it's a multi-million dollar, billion-dollar industry. And what it has been sold to us as is that it's about holidays and shopping and nails appointments and Botox. And I had to throw in, of course, a romantic dinner date. But is that really what self-care is? And we know that it's not a new concept at all. And we have these tried lines, we have these buzz lines. So yesterday I put up a post on LinkedIn about, oh, I'm going to be talking about self-care. And I got lots of those lines coming through from LinkedIn. You know, oh, you can't pour from an empty cup. You need to put on your oxygen mask first. You know, we know. We know, and I know you do. It's not new. We all know these lines. But really, do we do it? Well, I didn't used to do it until 2017 when I had the big change. My big change. So in 2017, I was completing my master's in public health at the University of Dundee. I was getting my registration with the General Medical Council. So General Medical Council, for those who might not know or joining us from other countries, they are the regulatory body of doctors here in the UK. And I am an international medical graduate. I was happy to hear that it was Vanessa that was doing the introduction, and she actually mentioned that she is tuning in from Ghana. I'm originally from Ghana, and I had my primary medical qualification from Ghana. And as per the regulations, when you relocate into the country, you need to write a series of exams, and then you get to be certified to practice in the United Kingdom. So I was taking my master's, I was finishing, I was doing my dissertation, I'm taking my plubs, I was going back and forth with documentations, with the General Medical Council. I had gotten an offer to do my internship with the WHO in Geneva. So I was getting all these logistics going. And for anybody who has any idea, the last people you want to get into any trouble with is with the GMC. Come to think of the WHO, you know, it's a lot of paperwork, administrative things, just to say that I was overwhelmed might not quite describe it. And I noticed that more and more as the days went by, I was getting really tired all the time. There were days that honestly, I couldn't keep my head up. And I mean that literally. So I would feel my head drop all the time. I was struggling to chew. I was struggling to swallow. My eyes were droopy and my breathing had become a bit more heavy. And I thought, oh, could this be a little bit more than just the stress of work? No. I'm Christian. So what did I do? You thought I was a doctor, so I would know better, or I'll go and see my GP. Perish the thought. I worked harder and I strived harder and I prayed harder. And I thought that if I did all this, it would take everything away. Unfortunately, it did not. So in 2017, I got the worst life-changing diagnosis of my life. I was told that I have myasthenia gravis. So what's myasthenia gravis? So myasthenia gravis, it's a chronic autoimmune disorder that causes muscle weakness. So chronic means it's long-term. Autoimmune means it's your own immune system that is fighting against you. And how does it happen? It just causes you to have lots of muscle weakness and fatigue. So remember all the things I mentioned to you earlier about me struggling to keep my head up, struggling to chew, struggling to swallow, eyes drooping. That's how I felt like this lady in the photo. I felt like I was connected to boulders and each step was heavier than the next. And then my vision became as terrible as ever. This was me trying to see things, this bottle shaky image. That was how I saw stuff. And remember I told you earlier, so I was this choleric, go-getter, I had to do a lot of things. I had a lot of things to prove, you know. At that time in 2017, whilst I was juggling my master's in public health, getting ready for my internship in Geneva, I was trying to put down like a good CV so the WHO would pick me on after my internship. I had cleaning jobs that I was doing. I was a sales girl. I was a sales girl at Next, you know. Girl, I had things going. I was busy. And when the doctor told me that, Hannah, I can see that you're really career driven and you have this really busy lifestyle, but you need to pace yourself. Pace myself? What does that even mean? Because I had gym that day. I had bought myself a new set of dumbbells and I had to go. But sometimes the body really just says no. Because I had this cultural message. So in this photo, at the bottom is the flag of Ghana. And at the top, on the extreme right, you would see a lovely bald man. He's the first Ghanaian president. Oh, you thought I was going to say I'm related to him. I'm not. But I come from a long lineage of really strong women. And so I felt like I can't let the system down, you know. I can't let these ladies down, all the politicians, the inventors, the entrepreneurs, my grandma, my great-grandma, all these lovely ladies, I can't let them down. And so I carried that heavy cultural message. And when it came to society, I had always been rewarded for letting my self-care go and upholding societal norms. You know, I've always been rewarded for being the hardworking, for being the yes girl. You know, when the teacher asks, can anybody, yeah, even before they finish, I don't even know what he wants, but yes, teacher's pet. And think of it, you know, the girl who would ask for extra homework, that was me. And I had always gotten pecks for it, from straight A's to straight entrance into school. That was the reward. So this behavior had been reinforced from not just from the cultural aspect, but then society would give you one-liners like, sleep is for the weak, you need to burn the midnight candle. And then at home, if you were asleep on Saturday, 6 a.m., you'd get comments from my mother and my aunties like, oh, you are asleep at 6, who's going to marry you? You know, so you have this subtle pressure that you need to whip yourself to conform. And in this photo is my graduation ceremony after many years of not wanting to turn up, but finally I did. So it's from the Royal College of General Practitioners. So I just thought, I have a 4-year-old and her new line that she uses now is, in real life, mom. So guys, in real life, I wanted to, but I really didn't have the time. And self-care is not cheap when you think about it. And so I couldn't afford it. And I have too much on my plate to add self-care. Do these excuses sound familiar? Yeah. But the truth is that our real issue goes beyond this. So I'm going to let us do a little exercise. Put up your hand if you've ever eaten something because someone offered it to you. You really didn't like it, but you didn't want to offend the person. I'll go first. And put up your hand, and this is a funny one, if you've ever come out from a public toilet and seen someone standing outside the toilet, and the first reaction you go is like, oh, sorry. Like, do you think the person standing outside has a better bladder than you? I mean, the person needs to go more than you need to go. But these are the pressures that we give ourselves. We think, oh, if I'm able to diminish myself, but we all need a toilet. So maybe what you should say is, excuse me, or maybe thank you. But then we'll quickly apologize. And being the yes girl, I would say, put up your hand if your boss asked you to do something that you really didn't want to do. But before you could even think about it, your hand was up already. Well, that was the old me. I don't do that any longer. So really, these actions have been formed by false, sad beliefs, and that's what I call it. Behind these excuses, the real truth that is grounded by these actions is that we feel we don't deserve it. We don't believe that we are worth our own care. It's okay if someone wants the copper, but no, not me. Oh, what's happening to my slides? If someone else wants it, the person can have it, but no, I can't have it. And so we often hear, I mean, it's TikTok world, so we hear these words all the time. Oh, this person is in a toxic relationship. But the truth is that most of us are in toxic relationships with ourselves. So today, I'm here to entreat you and say, to thy own self be kind. I thought I would go a bit more Aristotle and ancient so that it would stay with you, so that you remember that to your own self, be kind. And I wanted us to get some real practical examples. You know, sometimes someone would spill something and say, oh, I'm so silly. Oh, I'm so clumsy. Oh, don't never done. Oh, stupid me. Oh, silly. Huh? But would you let someone say that to you? Well, let's say you've gone beyond repair, so now you would allow it. But if you were a mom, would you let someone say that to your daughter? Certainly not. Well, I'm a mom, I'm not letting anybody say that to my daughter. But why do you say that to yourself then? I mean, really negative descriptions that people have of themselves. Oh, if it's a little game, let's say Scrabble. Oh, I'm definitely gonna lose this. Oh, I'm not good at that. Oh, I'm a terrible driver. Huh? Are you? Girl, mister, break that relationship you have with yourself. You are in a toxic relationship with yourself. And so you need to step out and come out of that relationship. And by so doing, I introduce you to the world of self-care. So what is self-care? Self-care is being in a healthy and functional relationship with yourself. It's being in a healthy and functional relationship with yourself. And for some people, because you've had so much toxicity, you might not even know what a functional and healthy relationship is. So I'm here to help you. I've got you. A healthy relationship affirms, a healthy relationship nurtures, and a healthy relationship sets clear boundaries. So if you're not doing any of these things, girl, mister, you need to break that relationship with yourself. You need to affirm, you need to nurture, and you need to set clear boundaries with yourself. And how are you going to do this? So self-care, it's fueled by intentional actions that allow us to cater for our own spiritual, physical, emotional, mental, and social needs. And out of this, I've come up with my 5 ways of keeping myself together and protecting my well-being. The mnemonic that I came up with is a bit controversial, but pick your brains out of the dumps and come along with me. So one of the ways that whenever I catch myself, maybe I get slightly overwhelmed by my husband or my kids or even my patients, or even while you're driving, I really stop in the moment and I go through my and because I've been practicing it so often, it comes almost spinal level now. What I do is that, how do I feel? And what do I want? So if I felt, oh, someone was a bit bratty to me, or I didn't like how the cashier reacted to me or responded to me, I didn't like what she said, it's not about her. I just calm down and I say, how do I feel? Well, I feel disrespected. I feel angry. Or sometimes really, I'm just hungry, or I need a wee, my bladder is just full. So when I ask myself these things, it allows for me to be self-aware and How do I feel? That's the self-awareness. And what do I want allows me to give myself grace. Remember we said earlier, to thy own self, be kind. And so it allows me to express self-compassion. We would sometimes hear things like, oh, women don't know what they want. Like, oh, how will a man know what he wants? What a woman wants when she doesn't even know what we want. No, we do. We do, because now we've learned, and so we're going to be practicing more of self-care, and we're going to be stopping to ask ourselves, how do I feel? We can do this little exercise now. Let's all just pause. How do you feel? And what do you want? I think I'm a bit thirsty, so I'll have my sip of tea now. And right there is self-compassion. So, my controversial mnemonic is SPEMS. 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 And this, for me, gives me a holistic approach to my how do I feel, what do I want? And it's a quick check for me to find out, ooh, girl, where are you at right now? So spiritual, physical, emotional, mental, and social. And then we'll take a deep dive into each one. So spiritually, we need to nourish our inner peace and our inner sense of purpose. We often hear that, oh, people are getting burnt out. I mean, it's not we often hear. I'm an occupational health physician, and so I see it day in, day out, and beyond occupational health, in the GP practice, I'm seeing how people look drained by work. And it's often because it's not just about the hours that they work, but because they've lost their sense of purpose. They can't find, why am I even here? What am I doing here? And that is where the burnout really starts. And so one of the ways that I know that it helps for many people to keep their well-being is being in tune with their spirituality. Mind you, I didn't say religion. And if you are a religious person, that is fine. I am Christian. And I've just recently been reading about it, that I'm yet to see any religion or any religious group or sect that does not support self-care. So, and that shows how ancient the concept of self-care is. So coming from my Christian background, I know that God created the earth within a week. And on the seventh day, he rested. That right there is self-care. For the people who are from the Islamic sect, we know that they have periods where they just stop and fast. Fasting, self-care. They are praying 5 times a day. I mean, what could be more self-care than that, where you're being called to stop and be mindful? That is self-care. So practical examples are prayers, meditation, attending faith services, or if none of that ticks the boxes for you, simply spending time in nature. Go for a walk. Listen to, and autumn is just a perfect time to consider going for walks. You can just listen to the crashing of your feet with the leaves and just watch how the brown leaves, the yellow leaves, they all just fall. It is so beautiful. And that helps us to connect with the spiritual part of our self-care. Then the S of the SPEM. Physical. Prioritize your physical self-care, and this will lead to an overall improvement in your health, your energy level, and it would pay you back with your mental well-being. I know you know all these things, so I don't want to bore you that, oh, you need to drink a lot of water, you need to exercise, you need to stretch, but I'm here to cue you in on a part of physical well-being that we are sitting on, that we are downplaying, and that is called NEAT. It's the non-exercise activity thermogenesis. Do you know that as I'm speaking to you, I'm losing energy, or let me sound a bit more woke, I am burning calories by just raising my hands, by moving my neck. And when it is done well, we can lose as much of a third, maybe, of our daily expenditure of calories in a day. So how do you do it? If you are in a job that means sitting all the time, you want to consider maybe a stand-up workstation. If you have the energy, you can consider taking up the lift instead of the stairs. If you are up for it, instead of sitting down to take your phone calls, how about pacing about? These are all easy, smart ways of burning calories without going to the gym. Emotional well-being or emotional self-care. Gosh, we could talk about this on its own, because unpleasant emotions, they are very much a part of our lives, from anger, anxiety, sadness. But we need to know how to deal with these things because they are normal. It is part of our lives. And I find journaling as a very beautiful and therapeutic means of self-care for me. And people would ask me when I mention spends that, oh, honey, you didn't talk about money. For me, money is an emotional thing. So when it comes to emotional well-being or emotional self-care, finances comes under that for me. And another way that I deal with my emotions when it comes to emotional well-being is having a trusted friend. Look, if you don't have a friend, you should invest in one. I mean, I can't. No, I'm not stressing it. You need to find a friend. So if you don't have a friend, no, you need to go find yourself one. And for some of us, our emotional well-being would mean finally making an appointment to see that therapist. The NHS talking therapy, book that call because that's what you need. I also find music very uplifting and setting boundaries. Don't know. Exiting toxic relationship. Remember what we said earlier. It needs to affirm, it needs to nurture. If you're having a relationship and it's not meeting all these three things, no, you check out. Mental well-being or mental self-care. We need to get the stimulus. And in as much as we need to get the stimulus, we need to know where to stop. And for this, I like to put professional well-being and the mental well-being. We need to know that you're not bringing work home from work all the time. If it happens once in a while, that's fine. But if you're constantly continuing work from work and work from home, something's got to change. Something is not right. And interestingly, limiting social media. Sometimes I go on a social media detox. I have recently become really active on LinkedIn, but there are times that I can delete. So Instagram off my phone, Facebook off my phone, because no, I just need a detox. And if it's 2 weeks or something, you would come back with a fresh pair of eyes. And it's nothing, the world is not going to stop. I've done it many times. It's not going to stop. Life is going to continue. You need to keep yourself and you need to be well. And I know that people have a busy schedule and we are all busy and there is no time. But how about turning all your commute times into a lovely mental well-being or mental self-care hub? Your car. You can listen to good podcasts, good messages, good preachings. If that is your kind of thing, make it your mental well-being hub. And then for the social part, you could consider some coffee time, engaging in group activities, fitness classes or support groups, family nights, games, or even volunteering to help people It's an efficient and purposeful way of having our social self-care catered for. Dun-dun-dun-dun-dun. I have no time, so when do I do it? I say, do it daily. Choose what time best works for you. I prefer mornings because it sets the tone of my day. And I was going to talk about, so for my emotional well-being, one of the things that I do practically, I've got a 3-year-old and I've got a 4-year-old. And for me to be able to have my self-care, it means they're going to bed at 7 p.m. Winter, spring, summer, fall. Yes. Because when they go to bed at 7, then I can come alive and just be Hannah and not be mommy or anything else. I can just spend time with my girlfriends on the phone. I can spend time watching a movie. So you know how things work for you. And if it matters to you, and if you think you matter, you're going to make the time. Because if you don't make time for your wellness, you would make time for illness. You decide. I think I've mentioned this already. Why do we need it? And this is my trademark that I use in my clinic and consultancy, that dead men don't work. Dead men don't work. Listen, your work only needs you because you are alive. Don't spook us out. Don't scare us. We don't want corpses at work. You are only of use to us. I know Halloween is coming, but it's a long way off. Stop scaring us. We are only of use at work because you are alive. No healthy work environment keeps dead bodies there. It's against health and safety. It's not right. It is evil. We don't want you at work if you are dead. And sometimes death is not just physical. Death is when you lose track of your sperms. When spiritually you are lost, physically you're lost, emotionally you're gone, mentally you are dead, and socially you don't exist. Please keep yourself alive because dead men do not work. So this is my self-care challenge for you. I want you to write down 25 self-care activities, 5 under each of the broad topics of sperms that I've spoken about. And each day, I want you to choose 3 to 5 acts, 1 from each category, and practice it. The rationale is that we want to incorporate this into our everyday lives so that it becomes a habit, because what we are creatures of habits. And remember, self-care, it's not selfish. You've worked for it. You deserve it. You are worth it. So in my initial plan, I was going to end my presentation here, but I couldn't. There was this burning urge to share a broader aspect about why I really think that self-care is not selfish. To tell you that I struggled with it wouldn't be a lie, because it was such a controversial thing to say, should I mean, in the heat of it, is it a good timing? But the more I tried to push it away and end it with a little challenge, the more I felt, no, I wouldn't be true to myself, and I wouldn't be kind to myself if I did not tell you this truth. You've already mentioned that we hope that the self-care you choose is sustainable, because like Aristotle said, that we are what we repeatedly do. Excellence then is not an act, but a habit. But I know that our decisions are influenced by the ecosystem that we find ourselves in. And so, what if we saw self-care as something that is beyond us as an individual, and we looked at the socio-economic model of change, that people and different levels influence what we do? So that you thought that you eat what you eat because that is what you want. Not really. There is this bigger bubble out there that influences who we are. So yes, we might think that I'm in charge, but not entirely. Stick with me. As I go through this, you would understand the socioeconomic levels of change better. So we have the individual one, we have the interpersonal, we have the community level, we have the policy level, and then finally it comes to the cultural bits of it. So at the individual level, I was thinking that, listen, when it comes to self-care, be that change you want to see. Let's start the butterfly effect. And for those of you who don't know about the butterfly effect, it comes under the chaos theory. And it's said that something as small as the flutter of a butterfly's wing can ultimately cause a typhoon halfway from away and around the world. So if you want to see that work allows people to start walking, be that change at the individual level. And I thought, but who wants to see my salads, or who wants to see that? I thought, no, it wouldn't be true. I wouldn't be honest if I didn't tell you what I have been up to. So in this photo, you would see me, and this is my lunch every day. I would take it to work. So you'd see my work laptop, that's my work desk. And on different days, I would share photos and I would show my work colleagues. And when we have a hub or we would have a little meeting, I'll be munching on my salad during the meetings. And it came to the point that people noticed that Hannah had salad. So instead of people asking me, what is for dinner or what are you having for lunch today? I noticed that the conversation had changed. They asked, what salad did you bring today? And you could be that butterfly. You could start that butterfly effect at your workplace. Are you the one who is going to be the physical champion? Are you the one who is going to start walking during, so 15 minutes, call your friend out and say, let's go out and have a walk. And before you realize, people are queuing at your door and saying, should we go for a walk today? At the interpersonal level, we can tap into the power of lived experience. So on the 28th of February, we celebrate something. It's either on the 28th or on the 29th of February each year. We celebrate what is known as rare disease days. And myasthenia gravis, the condition that I live with, is a rare disease. I don't need to explain rare. Rare is what it says on the tin. And we can use our lived experiences as a currency and allow people to have easy conversations about things that they dread to talk about. Do you have a child with special needs that you are hiding from everybody? No pressure, but when you feel comfortable at the interpersonal level, it might be a good emotional self-care for you to tell your friends or someone that you feel safe with at work, at church, about how you feel overwhelmed. As I'm talking to you now, I'm sure a few of you might have noticed that every now and again, I'm trying to support my neck because fatigue is setting in. And I use my interpersonal level to break the stigma and break the shame about disability. I mentioned earlier that I have a really fancy wheelchair, and people always go like, oh, yeah, oh, okay. I'm not sure whether I should talk about it or talk about it. If you're comfortable about it, talk about it. I talk about my race all the time, and my colleagues are as white as it comes. Up until, so today is the last 27th, up until the 1st of September, I was the only Black female working in my institution. And then we recently had someone joining us. And even with her joining, I was like, oh, apply for the job, get this, I'll talk to my practice. So at the interpersonal level, use your voice and use your lived experience to open door and break the stigma about things that people struggle to talk about. So this is the organizational level of self-care for me. Remember I told you about the 28th of February being Rare Diseases Day? And one of our symbols or emblems of rare disease is that we are zebras. When you're in medical school, or I'm not sure for other institutions, but you have this tried saying that, oh, if it looks like a horse, then it's a horse, or common things are common. But for rare disease, we say we are not horses, we are rare, we are zebras. So on that day, we celebrated by wearing striped socks. What did I do? I got my work people to put on striped socks. You wouldn't be amazed that even the people who didn't get the official striped socks came with their own striped socks to join the day. And it was so lovely. I felt so loved. It was such great fun. And I thought, oh, look at how this little thing has brought such a warm feeling and a sense of belonging. And people were really genuinely interested. They said, tell me more, Hannah. What is a rare disease? Tell me about myasthenia. Oh, is it MS? No, it's not. It can act like MS, but it's not. And through that organizational level of self-care, we got people to know more and break these barriers about stigma. Because oftentimes, what stigma is lack of knowledge, nothing more. So at the organizational level, do you have a voice? Encourage people to think about annual leave policies. Boy, whenever I had to go off work for being unwell, I felt I had let the NHS down. My patients are going to on leave because I couldn't go to work. What's going to happen to my team? Listen, the guilt would make me more unwell than if I had just rocked up at work unwell. But now I know better, and so I do better. And I tell my patients, my colleagues who are sniffly and coughy around me that, listen, you do me no favor by turning up at work with this cough and cold, because I'm on immunosuppressants and you're only going to make me sick with your constant sniffles and coughs. So if you are not well, please don't come to work, because you are risking my life by you showing up at work like that. So let's normalize these things at the organizational level. Parental leave. Are you unwell? Is your child unwell? Please, let us allow ourselves to take the break. And you can start the movement. Remember I mentioned about being starting the butterfly effect. You can be the self-care champion. You can start fun things at work like Food Friday. We're doing it now. So my institution, they every now and again, I think on the last Friday of the month, they'll do something like Food Friday. So what happens is that you would bring in your order of food and then you'd buy it. And guess the shocking part. After they get the food from the cafeteria, they would walk to their rooms to eat as individuals. I said, what? Well, I might as well have brought in my own packed lunch. So this is what I instituted. I said, if it's Food Friday, we are sitting together, we are eating together. I want to know about what's happening with your dog. Tell me about your cat. Where is your next holiday? And you would be amazed how, it gives this esprit de corps, this sense of belonging. And little by little, these seemingly minute actions help in breaking the loneliness stigma that we live in today. So start something. You might not be the people's person, or you might not be the one who'll be able to round everybody on at the organizational level, but you can start something. I'm giving you little fun ideas. You could start something known as like a Gratitude Friday. So Gratitude Friday, broadcast an email, say, oh, I'm thankful to Aaron and Samuel for being such great support to me this week. And let the ripple effect keep going. Start that butterfly effect. You can do a wellness Wednesday, tease everybody, tell them to come out, 5 minute stretches during work time, I mean, lunch break, 5 minute stretches. Go around rooms and pull people out. And before you realize, you've started a well-being hub at your workplace. And beyond the workplace, remember we looked at the big circles? Policies do influence our self-care. It's difficult for you to say, oh, I'm going to do self-care when the policies are not supportive. Are you having designated bicycle routes? Is work doing things like circle to work? Is work uploading the Equality Act? Are we comfortable talking about gender, race, seemingly difficult conversations at work, gender pay gap? Are they paying the women less and hushing it amongst your people? Are these policies things that are there such policies to protect you at the policy level of things? It is important that if you have the voice, you can use it. You don't need to be on the board table. You can write letters, you can write articles, you can extend your emotional well-being and your emotional self-care to that level of policy. And then the big, difficult conversation of cultural level. I think we are in really difficult times now as immigrants, people of color in the UK, and I think worldwide. And this was my hesitance about whether I should talk about it now or not. But for my mental and my emotional well-being and my emotional and mental self-care, I could not sleep at night if I didn't talk about this. And the Union Jack. I remember yesterday so I have this WhatsApp group, and I told my WhatsApp group that I'm going to organize a social experiment. I'm going to put a Union Jack on my consultation desk at work. And the feedback was that I'm not that brave, Hannah. That was what a few people told me. But at the cultural level, if we don't have that sense of safety, it breaks down everything we are doing through the spans. It's spiritually, we don't feel well. Physically, it's difficult for you to say you're going for a run as a person of color if you don't feel that, oh, my community is welcoming and is accepting. It always makes my heart sink each time that I go by a zebra crossing or I go by a roundabout and I see the red flag. I don't know. Some would say, oh, it's nothing. It's just a sign of patriotism. But I feel really icky and I feel really uncomfortable about it. And it really, really erodes on my emotional and mental self-being. And I bet for many of us, we feel the same. And so at the cultural level, I'm happy that we are having organizations like CAN that gives us a voice as people of color and helps us to create that psychological safety. And you know that the people that you are working with, the people that you are working for, the society that your children are going to school, there is that safety. So I'd like to end on this note that I hope I haven't riled you up emotionally, but let's think about the spams and take care of yourself so that yourself will take care of you. Good morning. Enjoy the rest of your day.
I feel like I should call you Hannah, not Dr. Brew. I feel like you've become a friend as you've been sharing there. That was absolutely fantastic. And I, I've got loads of people kind of commenting. You're seeing all the love hearts come through. But I think as on a personal note, as someone that finds it hard to get that ever elusive balance, that mindset of removing it, even though I advise it to everyone that I encounter. I think just the way that you delivered and shared was really powerful and resonated. So I can see it resonated with many people. But often when you do a talk, you always say, if it resonates with one person, I feel like I've done my job abundantly. And I can say you resonated with me abundantly. So job done. So thank you so much. And I think there's a number of questions that have come through, and many that are across the same theme. So I will kind of piece them together. Again, as ever, everyone, if there is a question that I haven't covered, please feel free to put it in the chat again, or to put your hand up via the chat, and we'll loop you in. But there is this sense, and you talked about writing down, the 25 things that you want to do, etc. And many people have just commented, and I think it's if helping to shift that mindset that self-care equates to something financial. So a number of people are saying, I don't. One of the comments was, I barely have any money to survive, and so when I think about self-care, I think about money. And just wanted your thoughts on that. And others have said similar things, but with different phrasing. So if you could reflect on that, that would be great, please.
So I hate to bust your bubble, but I think we have been sold a lie, So self-care is a very ancient concept, and it has just been bought and commercialized and resold back to us. So people are just using it as a profiteering mechanism. But the true self-care doesn't have to do with money. No, it doesn't. The money just makes it nice, it's a nice to have, but that is not the crust of it. I don't think that when God rested on the seventh day after He had created, it had to do anything with money. Or when we stop and pray or meditate, it has to do with money. I can go on with the 25, just rattle them all on the spiritual, physical, emotional, mental, social, that has nothing to do with money. And you'll be amazed, even when you have the proper circles around you, you could have someone funding it. If that is if it's the money that worries you about maybe going to the gym, you could have a good friend saying, well, I'm going to the gym, I need an accountability partner, come on, let's go. I'm not frozen, I'm here.
No, I think I froze a bit there. So no. I froze. So I'll take that as well. And I think that accountability partner kind of relates as well to so there's a comment about the friends comment that you made, and someone just said thank you, because she wrote, finding a friend, being honest that I need to find a friend has been hard, but also the vulnerability of admitting that you need to find a friend is hard as well. And I don't know if you just wanted to comment on that, because I think you emphasized that point about friendship so much.
So I am really blessed, and I know my situation is not like a lot of people. My sisters are my friends.
Mm.
And so it's such a safe, vulnerable place. And I can talk about my husband, and I can talk about my kids, and I know they've got me. And it's not for everybody. Beyond my sisters, and sometimes I get upset. I'm like, I'm going to find a friend. You guys take me for granted, But I haven't succeeded so much on that aspect because I know I've got them, But it's good. It's always good to have that safe place, because some of the things, some people who are in relationships, we expect too much from our partners because we don't have a friend. And when I hear people say things like, "Oh, my husband or my partner is my best friend," yeah, I wish you all the best. My husband is my friend. He's not my best friend, because sometimes my real anger is from him. He's the one who annoys me the most. So I need somewhere else to vent. Otherwise, I will be telling him what I really think about him. And it just mars the relationship, because nobody wants to be with a loser. And by the time I finish vomiting about all my anger and frustration about him, I wouldn't want to be with him. But if I get that safe space that I can blah, 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 blah. And then they'll say, oh, don't worry, don't worry. By the time I see him, I'm smiling again because I finished venting elsewhere. So that is why he's not my best friend. He's my friend.
I love that. Very similar on my end as well. So, someone else has written, as a single mum, I have zero time. Any tips?
So I mentioned about taking my kids, making my kids sleep at 7 p.m. and it's not negotiable. I mean, sometimes I get the backlash from my mom. Oh, it's especially during the summer. Oh, the sun is out. Why are they letting them sleep? I said, Mommy, so that I can think.
Mm.
You know, you need to make such boundaries for yourself. If it means waking up 15 minutes early every morning, it's something, it's not a compromise. I wouldn't call it, it's something you're doing for yourself. So you can tell your kids, you're not allowed to come to mommy's room until it's 7 a.m. You're a single mom, you have your safe space, you have your bedroom. They should just allow you to be, unless it's a fresh baby, or our cases are different. But if they're a bit older and they would understand you, start the boundaries. Get them to be responsible. Let them do certain things. Don't always cater to them, Let them learn how to do certain things for themselves. And you'll be amazed the little time that you'll be able to get back for yourself.
Mm-hmm. Thank you for sharing that. And I think there's a question about boundaries and digital boundaries, which I'll come on to. But what you've just said about children in the mornings, and I'm one of those. I'm more productive in my brain and etc. in the mornings. And so I say to the kids, you are only allowed to come in at a certain time. And so before that, unless anything else, if anything, you can write a note, slip it under if there's anything of particular concern. But it helps to ground you, but it also, they then follow it quite seamlessly, and they integrate it into their lives. So true. And there's been a question about digital boundaries and digital detoxing and screen time. And someone's written that she's been having this conversation with her husband, trying to emphasize it. So I think she'd like you to give your thoughts, so if he's listening as well.
So if your relationship matters to you, I would say leave your husband alone and focus on your own paper. You do it. And if you do it so well, he won't copy you. Yeah. Instead of saying, oh, put your phone away and mind me. And no, it's not going to. It's never worked. If it worked, everybody would be happy in their relationship. It doesn't work. Men don't like nags. Same. What's about same-sex relationship? Nobody likes to be nagged. So if you really want to do it, you be the butterfly effect. You start that change. And if he sees that, oh, she looks so peaceful, and he would ask you, oh, what are you doing? And you can share it. But just leave him and keep to your side of the street.
Mm-hmm. Oh, perfect. Thank you so much. And this is something that, again, I'm paraphrasing from different comments, but I think one of them puts it really well as well, is that, I feel that we as Black people hustle so hard. And then we say we can rest later, but will later come. And I think that's a kind of a sentiment that has come through a lot in other comments. So just wanted to get your thoughts on that, because I think it's something that we can all resonate with.
Absolutely, absolutely. Listen, I've been there, I can relate. And I think I even mentioned it about my cultural messaging and my social messaging, that on Saturday morning, if I was in bed at 6 a.m., my mom would say, who's going to marry you with this attitude? 6 a.m., you're still sleeping, who's going to marry you? And we can't fail. We can't fail, because even when we are doing well, they don't see it. So we feel that we need to prove ourselves by going the extra mile. On this one, I think we just need to come to a place of saying to yourself that I am enough. And I don't need to prove to anybody that I am enough. And it comes with growth, it's easy for me to sit down and say now that I am enough, but 5 years ago, I knew I was a good doctor. I knew my stuff, but I felt like I had to show it, and I felt like I had to prove it. So it just comes with growth. It comes with a lot of self-awareness and self-compassion to say, no, I've done it and I'm good. I'm going to leave it.
Great, thank you. And I think elements of that and that kind of, being kind to yourself and reflecting on yourself in a positive way. Just wanted to read out one of the comments in the chat that's saying about it's important to you celebrate yourself and little achievements. If you don't celebrate yourself, no one will. Value yourself and live within your limits. And so thank you, Chinwe, for sharing that. And I think it's something that again with that the mind of reflecting about self-care and kindness to yourself is also acknowledging the good that you do, because we're not always just to and a final question was just amalgamating it is that a number of people have asked about your specific experience about self-care and what there's been a lot of comments about what's the hardest thing that you have found in getting to where you are now in terms of self-care.
Right. So my hardest bit has been physical because I was the go, 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 go person, I have a choleric personality and I always have a list of things to do and I have this business running and I have that thing doing. And unfortunately, myasthenia gravis causes severe muscle weakness and it doesn't let you, as I'm talking to you, you can see that I have cautiously, stylishly held my head because my neck is coming down. But and the guilt and the shame that I felt, that why consult? If I wanted to pick my phone, I had to ask for help. And that is one thing that this condition taught me. It taught me to ask for help. And me being a Black, strong, feminine woman, I would even let you get the door for me because I felt I was letting the sisterhood down, So no, it's okay, I'm all right. No, I'm all right, I'm fine, thank you, I've got this. I haven't got this. Please get the door for me. Please take my bag. And if you can you help me up into the car? And that is the sense, that is the level that I have to be brought to come back up again. So it was like a whole phoenix experience for me. I had to be burned to my ashes, and out of the ashes I've risen and even more beautiful.
I can't think of a more perfect way to kind of end the session. Just beautifully said, as has been everything throughout approach. I think, when you look through the chat and just the positivity and thanks that has come across, and it's just been resonating, and people contacting me to say what a fantastic session this has been. So thank you for being open. Thank you for opening our eyes as well. And we really deeply appreciate it. So thank you again. Thank you to everyone as always. Your involvement, energy of participating and getting all those questions out there. We really, really appreciate it. And we appreciate your time. So thank you. And I just also want to end that this is on YouTube, this is on Facebook, this is on LinkedIn. You can get it all. Please share it, because I think it's such a powerful message that I think so many people will benefit from, regardless of age, gender, ethnicity as well. Everyone needs to hear this. So please do share. And now I'm going to hand over to an award-winning staff member of Khan, Natasha. Thank you so much. And Dr. Brew, thank you again.
Thank you so much for having me. And thank you everybody who came. I really appreciate the opportunity.
Dr. Vanessa, once more, thank you. Straight from a van in Ghana, because you are on the field and working at the same time. Absolute testimony of dedication to health literacy, prevention, awareness, not just in the UK, but also in Ghana. And same extends to you, Dr. Hannah. You did such powerful connections that made it so relatable to us. I'm not yet a mom, or do I have a husband, but so many things that you said also resonated with me, because the way that you managed to grab many different audiences and give us different examples, really, really loved the presentation. People keep saying that they loved it, and thank you so much, so well-rounded. So please come again, we will welcome you back. Without further ado, I just want to share some of the updates that we have from Cannes. Only have one screen today, so hopefully this will work. Wonderful. So next week we have a very powerful health hour, just like today's. That was super inspiring. Next week we have Dr. Catherine. She's phenomenal as a health professional, but also as a speaker, and we're so happy to have her next week. The topic is breast cancer awareness, because we will be in Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and what a way to kickstart that month. We know that health outcomes for Black women are not the best in this area. There's still a lot of work to be done. And some of it starts with us, what we can do. So please do come and join us. And next week, we'll look forward to meet you. But most importantly, share this session with a loved one, with a friend. You leave these sessions with added value and empowered, and what a better present to give someone than to share it. So I do hope to see you next week. On the same topic, Kant tries to hit all fronts. We're having an in-person event on the 25th of October. Our wonderful team, guided by Dr. Sakina, will be doing a wonderful event in collaborations with the organizations that are on the screen. So will be a wonderful celebration around life, around prevention, share, compassion. There will be fun prizes as well, activities, obviously all these health talks. So come and do join us, free event. If you've seen the pictures from last year, you definitely would be registering right now. I did leave contact for Sakina on the chat. And it's been quite a few years now that we have this brilliant gala in Black History Month. This year is on the 11th of October at the Concord Conference Centre in Altrincham, Manchester. And we are really focusing on the community. Those people, they are not seen or heard in the big spotlight, but that are doing loads of work within the community. We want to bring them to the stage and award them and celebrate them. It will be so much fun. Everyone will be dressed to impress. You do not want to miss this. You want to be in this space with other people of our community, and obvious our allies. There are various ethnicities. All we want is to be together, have a wonderful celebration, dinner, awards, music. You know how Cannes does things, always in great style. So do join us. Link is on the chat, QR code is on the screen, and I hope you are getting your tickets right now. We also have work in Enfield going on for quite some time. We have BHIP, the Black Health Improvement Program. It's all focusing on empowering, giving more cultural awareness and racial awareness to health professionals and also professionals of other areas that want to improve the way that they deal with the Caribbean and African community. So engage with us now, get to know how you get involved in the program, how that you elevate your staff. So particularly primary care staff in Enfield, get in touch with us. Contact is on the screen, bhipenfield@cannes.org.uk. And I believe it's last but not least, I want to share about our Green Nuts that is now not in London, all the way up in Manchester. We have sessions every Wednesday and every Tuesday with Lola. She's a wonderful member of our team. She's just so bright and full of energy to share with our community, to make them be more in contact with art, in connection to their well-being with our culture. They also do nature walks. They do all sorts of things, really interesting. You don't want to miss out. Do get in touch. Contact is on the screen. And I just want to thank you for joining us today. It's been a pleasure, but also thank you for making time for yourself and for others, because health is wealth. So I always see health hour as an investment for the future. I hope to see you next week. Bye-bye.
And that's our time for today. Whether you joined us on Zoom, Facebook, LinkedIn, or YouTube, thank you for making the Health Hour part of your Saturday. We hope today's session gave you the right dose of health wisdom that you can share with your friends and family. When we share knowledge, we strengthen our entire community. Mark your calendar. Next Saturday, same time. Got a topic in mind? We want to hear from you at health@can.org.uk. Health Hour, hosted by the Caribbean and African Health Network.